Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're heading to Branson, Missouri, to the Tri-Lakes Amateur Radio Club.
Oh, fun! TLARC.
You know them.
Well, I know of them. Heard good things. I'm excited to hear what you found.
So we've got a few sources, like their latest email announcement, a Facebook post, and some meeting minutes.
Sounds like a good mix.
Yeah. Let's start with the basics, though. TLARC has been around since 1973.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. Their call sign is W0TRI. And get this, they're revamping themselves as a nonprofit.
Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder what that means for them.
Right, and what it means for their community outreach.
Oh.
Clubs are so important for ham radio, you know.
Absolutely. Especially for newcomers. It's a great way to get mentorship, resources, and just meet other people with the same interests.
Exactly. Speaking of getting involved, TLIRC has their Winter Field Day coming up this Saturday.
Field day. Always a good time.
It's at Mincy State Conservation Area.
Okay.
And their Facebook post says everyone is welcome, even if you've never even touched a radio before.
I love that. So important to be inclusive.
I agree. And they'll have activities like setting up antennas, using different radio equipment, and making contacts with other operators.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Definitely. And they're really focusing on safety, too. They have a designated talk-in frequency, a backup location in case the weather's bad, and even someone assigned to first aid.
Good. You can never be too careful, especially when you're out in the field.
Very true. Now, their email announcement gets into even more specifics about the Winter Field Day. Officially, it starts at 10 a.m. local time on Saturday.
Okay.
But setup starts at 8 a.m.
So early birds are welcome.
For sure. And they'll be providing a Google Maps pin so everyone can find them. They'll be using simplex frequency 146.540 for local communication.
Makes sense. Simplex is more reliable in a field setting.
Right. Oh, and another cool thing, they're providing all the equipment.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So anyone can just show up.
Pretty much. Just got to dress warm, especially because they'll be operating from a hilltop on Saturday.
Brr, better bundle up.
Yeah. And they even said that if you're only a technician class licensee, you can still operate under the supervision of extra class operators.
That's a great way to learn and get some experience.
And speaking of learning, they have a technician boot camp coming up on March 22nd, too.
Oh, nice.
So if anyone's interested in getting their license.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, the registration details aren't out yet, but we'll keep an eye out for them.
Perfect.
Back to Winter Field Day, though. Of course there's going to be food.
There's always food at ham radio events.
Right. They'll have chili and coffee, and then it's kind of potluck style so people can bring whatever they want to share.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. And the email really emphasized that welcoming and supportive atmosphere, you know? Like they want everyone to feel comfortable no matter how much experience they have.
I love to hear that. It's what ham radio is all about.
It is. And it's not just about these special events. They have regular club meetings on the second Thursday of each month at the Golden Corral in Branson at noon.
Ooh, the Golden Corral. That's a good choice.
Right. And a lot of members even get there at 11 to socialize and have lunch.
So it's a real social thing, too.
Yeah, for sure. And then they also have two repeaters, 147.195 plus with a PL of 162.2 and 147.160 plus also with a PL of 162.2.
Nice. Extending their reach.
And, you know, they mentioned that welcoming voice, not Nice or Mimi, who often greets those calling in.
I love that personal touch.
Me too. It makes you feel like you're part of something.
For sure.
So it seems like TLRC is doing a lot to make ham radio accessible and fun.
Yeah, they sound like a great club.
They do.
Back to TLRC.
Right. We were going to talk about their move to become a nonprofit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a big decision.
For sure. I wonder what made them decide to do that.
Well, there are lots of reasons why a club might do that.
Like what?
Well, one big one is funding. It can be a lot easier to get grants and stuff as a nonprofit.
Makes sense. Like, there are probably organizations that want to support ham radio clubs.
Exactly, especially if they're doing things for the community, like teaching people about technology or emergency preparedness.
Right. Plus, it probably makes people feel better about donating, too, knowing it's going to a nonprofit.
Definitely. It just gives you more legitimacy, you know, like you're a real organization with a mission.
I can see that. So it could help them do more for the community.
Oh, absolutely. Like they could use that money for new equipment or scholarships or training programs, all sorts of things.
It would be really cool if they could offer scholarships for people to get their licenses.
I think so, too. It would make ham radio more accessible to everyone.
Speaking of expanding their reach, we should check out their website.
Let's see what their online presence is like.
It's actually really good. Well-designed,
Right.
easy to navigate.
That's important these days. First impressions matter.
Right. And their welcome message is nice. They talk about being a social group of men and women with all sorts of interests in radio communications.
I like that. Very inclusive.
Yeah. And they mention everything from casual conversations to contests to emergency
This is
operations.
the range of what you can do with ham radio.
Exactly. And they even have a section for visitors to Branson.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They give the repeater info so visitors can connect with other hams while they're in town.
What a nice touch.
And of course, they say Night IZY or Mimi will give them a warm welcome.
Love it.
They also highlight their club meetings, second Thursday of each month at the Golden Corral.
Lunch and ham radio. Always a good combo.
Right. And they say a lot of people get there early just to chat and hang out.
That's the best part sometimes.
And for anyone wanting to learn more about ham radio, they have a whole section on their website with resources.
Oh, cool. Like what?
They have a licensed study page with links to materials and practice exams and info on classes and forums to help people get their license.
That's really helpful for newcomers.
Yeah, definitely. And they even have information about Taney County ARS, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service.
That's an important part of ham radio.
Definitely. Shows how it can be used to help people in real-life emergencies.
Right. And if you want to stay connected with TLRC, they have a link to their Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, that's important too these days.
Definitely. Keeps people in the loop.
And they have a photo gallery on the site too, so you can see some of the members and get a feel for the club.
It's always nice to put faces to names.
I agree. And they have a contact page, so if you have questions, you can reach out to them easily.
They've got a great website.
They do. Really well done. So from all of this, it seems like TLRRC is a pretty welcoming and active club.
I'd say so. They're clearly putting a lot of effort into making ham radio accessible to everyone.
Yeah, and I think their move to become a nonprofit is a really positive step in that direction.
Agreed. It shows they're serious about their mission and want to do even more for the community.
But wait, there's one more thing we haven't looked at yet.
What's that?
Their meeting minutes. They have some interesting discussions in there.
Let's hear it. Always fun to get a peek behind the curtain.
All right, let's dive into these meeting minutes.
I'm ready.
These were from their December meeting.
Okay.
And there's a lot of talk about their repeater system.
Makes sense. Repeaters are so important for a club.
Yeah, they're talking about keeping them in good shape and even setting aside some money for new equipment.
That's great. A reliable repeater system is crucial.
Definitely. Oh, and they also talked about attracting more young people to ham radio.
That's so important. Got to get the next generation involved.
I agree. They were thinking about reaching out to schools, maybe even starting after-school ham radio clubs.
Oh, wow. That would be awesome.
Right. And they were even talking about scholarships to help students get their licenses.
That's fantastic. It would make ham radio accessible to so many more kids.
Exactly. And they're not just focused on new members either. They also talked about supporting their existing members with things like workshops.
Workshops? On what?
All sorts of things. Antenna building, digital modes, emergency communications training.
Very cool. They're really providing a lot of value for their members.
Yeah, definitely. And, one thing I really liked was that they're going to send get well cards to members who are sick or having a tough time.
Oh, that's so sweet. It really shows they care about each other.
It does. And speaking of getting together, their Winter Field Day is coming up this Saturday.
Right, at Mincy State Conservation Area.
Yep. They're expecting a big turnout and are excited to share the hobby with anyone who's interested.
It's the perfect opportunity for people to see what ham radio is all about.
I think so, too. So we've learned a lot about TLARC.
We have. They sound like a great club.
They do. They're active, welcoming, and committed to serving their community.
And they're doing a lot to make ham radio accessible to everyone.
Exactly. So if you're in the Branson area this Saturday,
head on over to Mincy State Conservation Area for their Winter Field Day.
Yep, it's going to be a great time.
And who knows, you might just discover your new favorite hobby.
That's right. Well, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll catch you next time.